He thought the past was buried. Then someone came back, who knew everything. Daniel spotted Mark sitting near the cafe window, stirring his coffee slowly. It had been 10 years since they last met. Mark looked mostly the same. Thin face, calm eyes, neat jacket. Familiar, but slightly out of place, like a photograph that had faded at the edges. "Daniel," Mark said, standing up. His smile was polite, careful. "Mark," Daniel replied, forcing warmth into his voice. They shook hands and sat. At first, everything felt normal. They talked about work, about the city, about how time moved too fast. Mark spoke in an even tone, never rushing, never pausing too long. Daniel relaxed. He told himself he was imagining things. Then Mark said, casually, "You and Sarah argued last Thursday night, didn't you? About the phone call." Daniel froze for half a second. He laughed. "What are you talking about?" Mark smiled slightly and took a sip of coffee. "You raised your voice, she went quiet, you slept on the couch." The cafe noise faded. Cups clinked somewhere far away. Daniel's laugh sounded strange to his own ears. "That's very specific," he said lightly. "Sarah tells people everything." Mark shook his head. "She doesn't." Daniel studied him. Mark was not joking. He was not testing. He was simply stating facts, the way someone describes the weather. Daniel noticed something else then. Mark had not asked a single question since they sat down. Not, "How are you?" Not, "How is your wife?" He already knew, or believed he did. "You've changed," Mark continued. "You're careful now. You didn't used to be." Daniel's fingers tightened around his cup. He had changed. He had made mistakes years ago, bad ones. It had taken time, effort, and silence to rebuild his life. His marriage, his job, his calm routine, all of it rested on the past staying buried. "How do you know about my life?" Daniel asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Mark looked at him, really looked at him, as if watching for something small. Fear, anger, guilt. "People talk," he said. But that answer did not fit. Daniel and Sarah kept to themselves. Their argument happened late at night, curtains closed, phones off. No neighbors, no friends. Mark leaned back in his chair. "You're happy now," he said. "That's good." Daniel felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. Mark's eyes did not blink. "Why did you want to meet me?" Daniel asked. Mark smiled again, polite as before. "I missed you." Daniel nodded, pretending to accept that, but his mind was racing. How much did Mark know? How long had he known it? And why come back now, after all these years? When they stood to leave, Mark placed a hand briefly on Daniel's shoulder. "He will talk again, soon," he said. Daniel watched him walk away. The street looked the same as always. Cars passed, people laughed, but Daniel felt exposed, as if a light had been turned on somewhere behind him, revealing things he thought were safely hidden. Mark began to appear in Daniel's life the way a shadow appears, quietly, without warning. On Monday morning, Daniel stepped out of his office building and nearly walked into him. Mark stood near the entrance, hands in his coat pockets. "You should take the stairs today," Mark said calmly. "The elevator stops between floors sometimes." Daniel stared at him. The elevator had stopped that morning. Daniel had told no one. On Wednesday, Mark was across the street from Daniel's apartment, pretending to look at his phone. "You didn't sleep well," he said when Daniel passed. "You kept thinking about leaving." Daniel said nothing and walked on. It kept happening. At a bookstore Daniel visited during lunch. At a quiet park he went to on Sunday evening. Mark never asked why Daniel was there. He already knew. Each time, Mark mentioned something small, a date, a sentence Daniel had said under his breath, a thought Daniel had never spoken aloud. The details were never dramatic. That made them worse. Daniel began checking everything. He searched his phone for unknown apps. He changed passwords. He checked the mirrors under his car, the windows in his apartment. the corners of every room. Nothing was out of place. No hidden devices, no signs of entry. At night, he lay awake listening to the building settle, his mind running in circles. Was Mark spying on him? Was someone else helping? Or was this some careful game meant to slowly break him? Mark sent a message late Thursday night. "We need to talk before tomorrow." A moment later, another message appeared. "Come to my apartment tonight." Daniel stared at the screen. Tomorrow. The word felt heavy, like a deadline. If he refused, Mark could go to Sarah, to his office, to anyone. Mark already knew enough to cause damage. If he went, Daniel would be stepping into something he did not understand. He put on his jacket and left. Mark's apartment was on the top floor of an old building. The hallway lights flickered. Inside, the air felt thick, unmoving. The curtains were closed. Only one lamp was on. "You're late," Mark said, checking his watch. "There was traffic," Daniel replied. His voice sounded smaller than he wanted. Mark locked the door behind him. The click echoed in the room. Daniel noticed the silence then. No music, no television, just the clock on the wall, ticking loudly, counting something down. Mark gestured to a chair. "Sit." Daniel sat. Mark stood across from him, calm as ever. "You've been worried," he said. "You've imagined several ways this could end." Daniel swallowed. "What do you want?" Mark did not answer right away. He listened to the clock. Then he smiled slightly. "That depends," he said, "on what you're willing to give up." The ticking grew louder. Mark did not raise his voice. He never needed to. "You don't remember me from that night," he said quietly, "but I remember you." Daniel sat still, the chair hard beneath him. The clock kept ticking, each sound pressed into his head. "5 years ago," Mark continued, "you left a party early. You were angry, distracted. You took a turn too fast." Daniel's chest tightened. Images rose without permission. Rain on the windshield, a sudden shape in the road, the sharp sound of metal. He had been questioned. No charges were filed. The report said unavoidable. "There was a car behind you. Mine." Daniel looked up. Mark's eyes were steady. "You didn't hit me," Mark went on. "You forced me to swerve into the barrier. I survived. My leg didn't." Mark lifted his pant leg slightly. Daniel saw the brace, thin and cold against the skin. "I lost my job," Mark said. "Then my family, then time. You went on, new life, clean record." Daniel's mouth felt dry. "I didn't know," he whispered. "That doesn't change what happened," Mark replied. He placed a folder on the table and pushed it forward. Inside were documents, photos, witness statements Daniel had never seen. "I want you to confess, publicly, tomorrow." Daniel's thoughts raced. A confession would destroy everything: his marriage, his career, the careful image he had built. Sarah would look at him differently. Everyone would. "And if I don't?" asked Daniel. Mark smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Then I stay. I remind you. I decide what you hide and what you lose, little by little." The room felt smaller, the air heavier. Daniel closed his eyes. He saw Sarah's face, their quiet mornings, the life he would be giving up. He also saw Mark standing outside his office, outside his home, never leaving. Fear or ruin, control or collapse. He opened his eyes. "Give me the pen," Daniel said. Mark slid it across the table. Daniel signed the statement slowly. Each letter felt final. Mark took the papers and placed them back into the folder. He did not thank Daniel. "You'll sleep better, eventually." Daniel stood. His legs shook. At home, Daniel sat alone in the dark. He picked up his phone and made a call. When Sarah answered, he did not speak at first. "I need to tell you something," he said. Outside, a door closed softly somewhere in the building. The clock on the wall continued to tick. Some confessions end fear. Others simply change its shape. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Stay curious and stay alert.